The frontman of Trapt has really been bragging about the band's numbers. I had no idea they were still so popular. Let's see how the album did in its first weekend. Let's just look at some of these streaming numbers. Wait, only a couple of thousand of streams per song? Wait, this can't be right. Pandora's #1 rock band? Are you kidding me? This is some sort of agenda. Liberal, left-wing agenda to suppress our boy Chris Taylor Brown. He's out here making moves. You are not listening to Shadow Work as much as you should, and I'm gonna go have an epic meltdown about it on Twitter. Hey neighbor, welcome back to Rock Gone Wrong on ARTV. My name is John, and Trapt are a band that haven't entirely been on my radar as of late because I'm not entirely stuck in the year 2002. They might have a couple of million listeners per month on streaming services, but let's not forget, that's only because of one fucking song, and it's called Headstrong. Back off, I'll take you on. The lead singer of this post-grunge, nu metal, and alt-rock band that saw most of their success during the 2000s, Chris Brown, side note, is there anyone with that name that isn't a total douchebag? Because if so, I haven't met them. He started having an epic meltdown on the official Trapt Twitter and Facebook account, and he started arguing with people because he's extremely far right-leaning, he's a huge Donald Trump supporter, he doesn't believe in systemic racism, so that should be your red flag right there. He put a giant target on his back with all of that. And obviously, I had to check out Shadow Work. No, not on streaming services. I had to go the way of the pirate, if you catch my drift. I wanted to know, does he spew out as much hate in his material with Trapt as he does on Twitter, or is this just another yawn fest? If you watch this channel, you've probably seen me talk about Trapt a few times in the past, and I have admitted that I like songs like Headstrong. They still kinda hold up in a nostalgic, cheesy type of way. That, along with Waiting, maybe a couple of others, aren't so bad, but once we got to the 2010s, it didn't seem like Trapt were able to evolve to continue keeping themselves around. I listened to the album DNA and got nothing from it, and pretty much since then, I've been avoiding them. I came into Shadow Work not expecting much, but then I saw the track list for this, and I had to guffaw at some of the titles of these songs. Are you even trying? May we now experience together a reading from the Book of Trapt, chapters 1 through 12. Make it out alive. I want to want what I want. Tell me how you really feel. Too little, too late. Far enough away. Turn me around again. Trying too hard. Let me down slowly. Too far away. Get you back. Hold and be held. Save your soul. And thus concludes the reading of the Book of Trapt. Do you get what I'm driving at here? The titles of the songs pretty much scream it all. They are well into their career. I genuinely don't know how some of the band members stick around. I mean, their bassist is the original bassist. That's the only original member other than their frontman himself. I genuinely thought that there would be more in terms of politics, so I will give him a little bit of credit for saying that he divides his own personal thoughts sometimes with what he puts into Trapt's music, but still, at the end of the day, this is an album that nobody asked for that is so incredibly tedious, yawn-worthy, and boring that I could barely keep my eyes open, and I listened to this while driving. I almost had to pull over because I don't want to be asleep at the damn wheel. What's the most quintessential defining element of a band like Trapt? What's the first thing that comes to your head? Is it like a band that refuses to break out of their bunks? They're very much set in their ways? A meat and potato gang that refuses to do anything new? Well, if that's true, then they've doubled down on every instinct they've ever had, because this album is painfully dull, painfully familiar, but also so damn dreary that you're just begging by the time it ends for them to have one semblance of a fresh idea, and they don't give you that. They teeter it a few times, but you never get there. Every song about a girl is the same. Every song you can see coming from a mile away. It's just like a freight train running into your skull. And for those who like Trapt, this is going to get the job done. It's not going to change anything. It's not the worst album that I've heard in 2020, not by a long shot, but it's also one of the most hard to get through because it is so boring. All of the songs sound virtually identical, the guitars are so sterilized, the bass is muddied in the mix, and also Chris Brown as a frontman. I mean, exactly what is he bringing to the table? I don't even hear any of the enigma that he brings to some of their biggest hits, so why would I care? I just can't imagine hopping in the studio with this guy. I mean, their bassist is the only original remaining member other than Chris Brown himself. I mean, you get in there, you record these songs, and you gotta be thinking, oh my god, he's so creatively bankrupt. How can I play this drum so sterile? How can I tone it down anymore? And then you just go in. It can't be life-affirming. It can't be something where you're like, I feel so content with my career and my decisions in life. The other band members are clearly enabling him. They put up with his antics on Twitter. And again, while it doesn't bleed into the music really, I mean, I almost wish it did so I'd have a little bit more to laugh at instead of just this snooze fest that does nothing and coasts by for like 45 minutes. You know, I don't normally recommend outside co-writers because I like for a band or an artist to just kind of do it themselves, to dig deep. I really genuinely don't think they have anything at all to say. So bring in Max Martin, bring in whoever else it is. I want to hear some co-writing on a Trapt song, except maybe kick out Chris Brown and, I don't know, bring in someone who isn't a piece of shit.
Hey!
Oh god, what?
Believe it or not, I actually just wanted to pop out and say that, I kinda agree with you on this one. It's kind of a shitty thing to do.
Well, when even XX Brutal Swag 69XX, did I get that right?
Yeah, 6 fucking years later, you finally get it right.
Well, whenever he's not even on board, I mean, what is there really to say? That pretty much summarizes it all right there. I thought that somebody like that would be right up their alley, but even there, bored to tears and not that bad. Oh, why waste any more time here? You know what you're getting into. Let's just go ahead and go into the tracklist breakdown, talk about a few of these, and then call it a day. You know what I noticed almost immediately beyond the homogenized feeling of the track list, where they don't even try to be like, let's bring in a new guitar tone, or maybe we shift up the drums for this one, or maybe I could sing about something different. It's just every cliche in the book just rolled out over and over. But beyond that even, I noticed that a few of these songs, they sound extremely similar to each other, and even some of the titles. There's 2 tracks on here. There's one called Far Enough Away, and then there's Too Far Away. Which is it? It just serves as proof to me that he tried to write the songs that he thinks Trapt fans want to hear, which are the most basic by-the-numbers rock songs that maybe feels like they took a word from every hit in the 2000s and they put it into one. This just beats you over the head with it, and they're berating themselves. I mean, why not just cut one? I can't even remotely take some of these songs serious. I mean, as I listen to the song Let Me Down Slowly, and as he's trying to kind of put his heart out there on the sleeve, I just picture the guy that's cannibalizing people on Twitter screaming his head off, and he's pretending like, I don't know, he gives any semblance of a fuck in a relationship. Okay. There's a line between the art and the artist, and I often try and divide that, and I try to encourage others to separate that as well. But in the situation of Trapt and Chris Brown in particular, I find it so hard to do that when you're so blatantly putting your views out there, you're expressing yourself, and then you try to make yourself look like the good guy in these situations, like, hey, I'm gonna be the hero in this relationship, or hey, I'm actually gonna have something to say on this situation, save your soul, you're too far away, let me down slowly. I don't believe a word of it. Make It Out Alive opens up this album, and it's the most Trapt sounding song here, I feel like, in the sense that it's trying to be anthemic, it's trying to be your next in rotation, on demand track for the gym workout. Well, it doesn't really cut it, considering, once again, it has no teeth, no real bite to it whatsoever, and as we continue to maneuver through these tracks, I get to something like Tell Me How You Really Feel, and I start laughing as the song goes on, because it's imploring, it's trying to get some sort of response or feeling out of the listener, and there's just nothing there. You can see him trying, and it's just like a flat heartbeat monitor, and you're just looking at it and you're like, clearly DOA here. I don't even really know how to wrap this up or what note to end on here. I guess the main takeaway is that it's not the worst thing that you'll ever listen to. There's a few moments of clarity where I'm like, you know, they're giving it their all. It's not good, but they're trying. I could point to Too Little Too Late. I mean, the vocals during the hook, They had a little bit of nuance to them. I guess I can give some credit to the instrumentals. They weren't all awful. Again, it's just painstakingly dull. It's not necessarily always awful, and I am a bit surprised that he didn't try to bring in a little bit of extra personality that would have made it at least a little bit more interesting and fun to talk about, but instead we have an extremely by-the-numbers forgettable rock album that I'm giving a 1.5 out of 5 to. Have you heard this album? Let's be honest, you haven't. You're just gonna take my word and roll with it, and you don't need to stream it. That's just my recommendation from me to you. If you want to check out another review of something that I actually liked, then tap here, or tap here for another episode of Rock Gone Wrong. All of my socials can be found in the description. Can't wait for Chris Brown to yell at me on Twitter, and I'll see you soon for more on ARTV.